Hello and welcome to the second of my GCSE Maths revision videos on fractions and percentages. In the first one the focus was on fractions, looking at simplifying fractions, ordering fractions, finding fractions of an amount, and doing plus, minus, times and divide with fractions. In this second video we're trying to connect fractions and percentages, look at finding percentages of amounts, doing percentage increase and decrease, and also using percentages to compare amounts. So getting straight into this, here are some common fraction, decimal and percentages equivalents that you need to know and learn. Get yourself a copy of this if you need to, but you do need to know these. Knowing them will save you a lot of time and effort in your exam. There are a couple that aren't included here but can easily be worked out. For example, I haven't included 2/5, but 2/5 will be twice as much as 1/5, so that would be 0.4 and 40%. 3/5, 0.6 and 60%, and so on. Okay. Moving on, in my first video you will have seen, if you've watched it, how we can use a common denominator to compare fractions. So looking at 3/4 and 7/10, we multiply the 4 and 10 to get 40. Then starting with this first fraction, how many times does 4 go into 40? Well, that's 10 times, so multiply the 3 by 10 as well, that gives you 30. How many times does 10 go into 40? 4 times, so multiply the 7 by 4 to give you 28. Now that's not the only way for us to compare fractions. We can compare these two fractions by using percentages. So the method I want to show you to start with is look at the fraction, 3/4, and look at what you would have to multiply the denominator by to make it 100. Well, 4 goes into 100 25 times, so if I multiply the numerator by 25 as well, I get 75 over 100. And the idea behind making a fraction out of 100 is that a fraction out of 100, that's what a percentage is. So if you can aim to create an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100, the numerator will be your percentage. So here, looking at the second one, denominator of 10 goes into 100 10 times, so multiply the numerator by 10 as well, we get 70 over 100, so this one is 70%. So that method will work for any fraction where your denominator goes into 100. Now, here's one where our denominator doesn't go into 100. Yeah. 100 is not in the 30 times table. So what I'm suggesting to you is, if the denominator isn't a factor of 100, see here, I've listed out the factors of 100 for you. Only I've missed one. Should be a 25 in there. That's better. So there are your factors of 100. So looking at this 12 over 30, the method I'm suggesting for you is simplify first, simplify this fraction until we get a denominator that does go into 100. So my first video covered simplifying fractions. Yeah, divide top and bottom by 3 gives me 4 over 10. Then I can use what I showed you on the previous slide. 10 goes into 100 10 times. Multiply top and bottom, I get 40 over 100, which comes out as 40%. here is another one for you. 40 is not a factor of 100, but if you see here I've divided top and bottom by 2, simplified to 9 over 20, and because 20 is a factor of 100, goes into 105 times, I multiply top and bottom here by 5, get 45 over 100, 45%. Okay, move on. Calculator method for converting a fraction into a percentage is just to do the numerator divided by the denominator and multiply by 100. This example I've done for you, 2 decimal places, that would come out at 73.91. Yeah, you'd never be expected to do that on a non-calculator paper. So here are 3 conversion to percentages to have a go at. Ask your teacher to pause the video, have a go, and then you can check your answer. Okay, here are the 3 answers to those. The second and the third one can be done using the method that I've just outlined, but here 48 doesn't readily go into 100. So with something like this, simplify the fraction until you can't go any further. So if you've mastered how to simplify fractions, this will simplify all the way down to 1/4. You see 12 goes into 48 4 times. So yeah, simplifies to 1/4. 1/4, you should hopefully know, is 25%. Okay, moving on. Going from percentage to fraction. Got an easy method for you here. Take the percentage, write it as a fraction out of 100. So take the percentage number, put it over 100, and then use what you already know about simplifying a fraction to simplify this down to its simplest form. Here I've divided top and bottom by 5 to get 7 over 20. So 35% expressed as a fraction in its simplest form, 7 over 20. Here are 3 to have a go at. Ask your teacher to pause the video, then you have a go, then we can check your answers. Okay, first one, see here, I've simplified to 16 over 25. Second one, I've simplified to 13 over 20. And the third one, I've simplified to 9 over 25. Okay, moving on. Comparisons using percentage. This is something you might see in a GCSE question. Evening class, 13 out of 20 students arrived on time. Daytime class, 16 out of 25. So when we're trying to compare amounts that are out of a different total, percentages are ideal for this. So remember, whenever you see out of, one number out of another, think fraction. So I've turned the 13 out of 20 into 13 over 20. I have created an equivalent fraction out of 100 by multiplying top and bottom by 5. 65 over 100 is 65%. The second one, I've turned this into 16 over 25. 25 goes into 100 4 times. Multiply the 16 by 4. I get 64 over 100, which is 64%. So now I can see that the evening class had the better timekeeping because 65% were on time as opposed to 64%. Okay, let's have a look at finding a percentage of an amount. So here, what is 30% of £125? Well, I'm dividing by 10 to find out what 10% is, and then 30% is going to be 3 times that. So I can either multiply £12.50 by 3 or just add 3 lots of £12.50 together. So my answer to this question, what is 30% of £125? My answer would be £37.50. Once we can find percentages of an amount, we can use that to work out percentage increase and decrease. So let me walk you through this example. Was £85 reduced by 30%? Well, 10% of 85 is £8.50. So 30% will be 3 lots of that. So £8.50 times 3 is £25.50. And because this is a reduction, it means take that away from your original price. It's going to leave you with £59.50. Hopefully that makes sense. Here's one to have a go at. Actually, don't have a go at it because I've already revealed the answer there. Same method as before. Found 10%, £8. 4 lots of that, £32, and because it's a reduction, I've taken that away. Okay, so that's it for my fractions and percentages video. That is not a complete lesson on everything to do with fractions and percentages, but it's some of the key stuff that should get you most of the marks on some of the most common types of questions. Okay, thank you for watching and listening. Bye.